Welcome to Two Souls Podcast, a podcast to shift, impact, empower, and disrupt your consciousness, ultimately allowing you to thrive in this human experience. Now here are your hosts, Amber Megenhauser and Angela Blaha. Hey Amber, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Great. What is our subject for today?
So, I was thinking today that we would talk a little bit about physical things people have in their body. The other day, a couple days ago, I got a really bad migraine. I have not had one for years and years and years. And I got one pretty bad the other day. And I was like, what the heck is this? Why are you back? Why am I in so much pain? I was absolutely miserable for a whole day, puking sick from it. So I just kind of wanted to talk about why this would come up again after so long. And yeah, I guess that's kind of what I want to talk about. Why this, I feel like I kind of know the answer, but I just kind of wanted a little bit of clarity because so many people deal with migraines. And I know it's not just a physical headache that they're dealing with, it is way more than that. But we always try to, our mind can't help but wrap it around, oh, I have a migraine today. What is this caused from? So I just kind of wanted some insight from you on that.
So, first of all, what do you think it is? Let's start there and then maybe we can, move into it deeper.
I feel like I am going through a lot of personal upgrades in my life right now and taking some classes, doing some things. And I feel the whole time I was doing this, when it got really bad and I just laid down and went to bed, I kept asking, like, what is this? What is causing this? What is this from? And everything that was coming in, I kept getting the answer that my body was just upgrading and that I needed to just rest. But when I very first laid down, like, my third eye was so intense that it was like literally making me nauseous sick. Like, I was just like, I felt like my whole head was like spinning, but there was so much like activity right there and like such an odd sensation that I feel like so many things were like opening up and my body was like just upgrading for the next level of my life.
Yeah, so because you're taking shamanic courses, right, and exposing or revealing or unveiling the shaman in you, the healer, that natural healer in you, it's really natural for that third eye to sort of pop open. And keep in mind, because we are layered beings, or we have in this dimension, we have a hierarchical kind of a system. There are levels of openings, right? And so we take courses, or we, you hang around other people so that we open and expand ourselves. And there are different levels of that. So the third eye opening can be, like you experience, very abrupt, I want to say. And at the same time, it can be very, very expansive. And the third eye is how we see the unseen. And since you are, right, like that's where you're expanding into, is seeing the unseen. Um, that
Yes.
third eye has a lot. So, so yeah, when we expand and the body can't keep up with the DNA and cellular change, it does need to rest. I mean, it does need time to integrate. And if we're not really in tune with how we integrate, how the body integrates, how the mind integrates, and how the emotions integrate, then, we can have these kinds of mm, traumatic experiences that sort of shut us down, that sort of say, okay, we need a break here, right? And the break always comes in the form that will just put us into bed, or that will be the most dramatic, so that we literally have to pay attention to it. Like there's no escape a migraine, right?
Yeah, for real. It was like very intense too. I was just like, I mean, I had them so bad before that when I got this one, I was just like, no way. Like, I haven't had this for 4 years. Like, what the hell is happening to my body? But instantly, when I finally like was like, okay, I just need to focus and ask some questions and figure out what this is. That is immediately what came in. And it's like the minute I asked the questions is when my third eye just like went crazy, and I was like, it was almost so intense. I couldn't stand it, just because I was just like, I've never had it like that wicked before. So what I did, I just like walked myself through it, and I'm like, okay. Um I laid there and I had all these oils going, because I'm an oil freak, and
Mm-hmm.
I I just walked through everything, and I'm like, okay, so I did a meditation, and that's how all this kind of came in. And I was like, that's exactly what this is. And my mind wanted to relate it to, no, what did I do? Because I always track everything back 3 days, because I can actually kind of figure out what happened if I did it. Well, when I tracked it back 3 days, also was the day we were at your house practicing. And I was like, that's exactly what this is I just went through like this huge upgrade, and I was like, whoa. And actually, since I've had it, my intuition has skyrocketed since the migraine.
Of course it has. Right? Like, of course, that's the natural way that it works. Um, so
Yeah.
tell us, what did you do to like release the migraine? Because I'm I'm I know you, and so I know that you used to spend days upon days with migraines. So how did you release it so quickly?
I definitely diffuse. I have a certain combination of oils that I go through. So immediately, the when it started coming on, and I knew it was gonna be a real migraine, not just like a headache. Um, I came to my room. I went through a whole process of oils. And about 30 minutes after I did that, I got sicker than a dog. And I puked and puked. And immediately I got in the shower. And I go, whenever I'm sick, I go through a process. I use water to my advantage. And I totally cleansed my whole body in the shower, released everything I was holding on to. And then I went to and I laid down after that, and I did a meditation, and that's kind of when everything came in and my third eye went crazy. And then um I had a lot of information, I guess, come in as far as just like upgrading and things I needed to do, the path I was going down right now. And then I slept literally for like 16 hours straight after that. This happened at like 5 o'clock at night, and I did not get up until 10 o'clock the next morning. And then I was fine. I mean, I was a little like woozy, but I was fine. But a lot of it's the like prep beforehand, where the pain did take it away. You know, the oils did take it away. The shower helped. The puking helps. You have to like get everything out of your body, and then it just like kind of settles down. I mean, yeah, you kind of toss and turn a little bit, but the pain isn't near as bad after you like walk yourself through it. And as I do the meditation too, like I physically relax my body, and going through the meditation, I tell my body, like with every breath, I relax more and more. And you can, as you do that, you can just like, even though you're in meditation, your body like physically moves, like it's relaxing, and it goes to its own little spot, and it just gets better and better and better.
Yeah, that's how you can self hypnotize, is by telling the body what to do, and then it sort of goes into a state of like a hypnotic state, like literally you're just literally telling it exactly what to do. We can do that with the mind and the emotions
Yeah.
as well. Um, so so how can I'm going to ask you some questions. So how can you like sort of prevent this in the future? Because you're taking courses, you're expanding yourself, you're really moving into some deeper areas of remembering like your natural abilities. So what can you do as a practice moving forward so that you don't have to have, sometimes we do need just to detox, which is, I feel like, more of what you did, holding on to the old, holding on to the
Yeah.
past, holding on to the non memories, right? Um, Sometimes that detox, like it needs to happen, but how can you do it on a regular basis so that you don't have to have the trauma that goes along with, like your experience?
I think if I practiced every day in meditation, also just saying that my transformation will not be painful and I will not go through detox with it will help me tremendously. And I have done that since I had that on Tuesday because I was like, this is so intense. I don't ever want to do this again. And so I think that would help a lot just to tell my body that it doesn't need to be showing the physical pain of going through that the change is going to be subtle.
Right. So directing the body, like telling the body what to do instead of like letting it build up so much that it decides what to do and you're like, "Oh, what the heck is happening?" Right? So everyday
Yeah.
detoxing.
Yeah.
Like literally, why aren't we as a human
Yeah.
race everyday detoxing? We know that we're poisoning ourselves with our food, our water, our mental states, our the programmings, the fears, right? So what that's a good question. Like what was the
Yeah.
fear that you had um in your own expansion and in opening up that third eye? We're digging in deeper.
I don't I know. I don't feel like I had any fear around it because I always want everything to happen faster than it is. And oh, I'm like, maybe that was a reason because I actually had to feel it to know that it was happening. Maybe that's my
Ah.
fear is that I wasn't going to open up enough to be able to do the things that I'm going to be doing.
So do you always have to have a
Hmm.
physical reaction? I mean, I'm just asking. It's not like some of us do need that physical reaction to sort of like hone it in or to sort of like integrate it in.
Yeah, I guess until you said that, I definitely feel like having the physical reaction, I have more attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
So feel, yeah, I definitely think maybe that, yeah, having the physical really brought my awareness to it.
And ever since, right? Like you said, my intuition has just been like
Yeah.
astronomical. So would you pay attention to, so this is maybe some questions you can ask yourself in the future is, would I pay attention to my own intuition without doubt if I did not have a physical reaction? Because sometimes, I mean, well, for some of us, like that's the programming, right? Like you have to have this physical component to it that says, pay attention here, this is what's happening. If you just had maybe a little dizziness or something with the third eye opening, would you be as confident as you are in your intuition now?
No, probably not.
I mean, in retrospect, we can always just say no, but that's just something moving forward
Yeah.
so that we don't have to have such traumatic physical experiences because, a lot of us do.
Yeah. It definitely, it definitely opened up my awareness because I was just like, no. Like, I sent these away a long time ago. This is not allowed to happen to my body no more. And so I was a little bit blown away from it just because I was like, no, like, this doesn't happen. And when it did, immediately my awareness was like, I was just like on guard, like, and I had question after question because I'm like, why am I feeling like this? How is this happening? This isn't real. Like, what is my body going through? And so I had like a million questions, and I just laid in bed still as could be, and I bet I laid there for I don't even know how long, because you don't really. I mean, you sleep, but you don't like sleep
Hmm.
hard. You just kind of because you're in so much pain, you just kind of like laying there miserable. And so I was trying to like not focus on the pain and figure out like, okay, like what is this? Like this is definitely telling me something. Like what do I need to know? And I just started questioning everything, and all this stuff was coming in and I'm like, "Oh, I get it." Like I physically needed to feel this in order to be able to realize what this is. And immediately I knew after I started asking questions, I was just like, "Holy crap, that's exactly what this is." And everything
Hmm.
was like so intense, and even just the downloads you have like when you're in that state, you're like, whoa, okay, got that. So I feel like I feel like I had to go with through it, like you said, to physically make my awareness, I mean, my awareness sensing is just like I said, gone through the roof. And I'm like, okay, I guess I do physically needed to feel that to be able to move forward.
Yeah. So you get to ask yourself, do you need that reminder every time moving forward? Like, because you're going through a very big growth and expansion intuitively, and remembering your natural gifts and abilities. Like that's a for some of us, especially depending upon how deep our programming is, like that could be very catastrophic. It's like the kundalini rising. Like you hear stories of people who have this kundalini awakening, and how painful it is in the back and the pelvis, and all that kind of thing. It's just the remembering of how powerful we are. So, you
Mm-hmm.
get to decide moving forward, but, sometimes we just need that reminder. And the body sometimes needs an extreme detox. My plan moving forward is to detox every single day because I know how important it is right now with the growth and expansion that we're moving through as a mass of consciousness to detox the body, because we're really literally opening up to our natural self. And the body has to be detoxed. It has to be able to be pure enough or clear enough or clean enough, I want to say, to house that soul, the natural pureness of our essence has to be able to be released or activated. And for that to happen, the body needs to be a bit purer than what it has been in the past, because we've poisoned it so much that we do need to run through these sort of
Yeah.
detoxes. Yeah.
So, do
So
you have some suggestions for simple detoxes people could do on a daily?
yes. So water is. We've been trained to drink tons and tons of water. What I know right now is that water is not enough. Myself included, like I've been feeling very dehydrated, and I drink a ton of water.
Yeah,
Um, and I don't really
me
have
too.
right? I don't really drink caffeines. So, I mean, every now and then I'll have coffee or something, but I don't generally, as a general thing, I don't drink pops or I'm not really caffeinated. Um, I'll
Me
drink
neither.
green
So, I definitely
teas.
get that.
Yeah. So I've been supplementing with coconut water, but that again does not seem to be helping. So I contacted It's funny that we're talking about this because contacted my healer in Peru that I love and adore, and he said, it's all about the balance right now. Like we're trying to figure out some sort of balance, and we don't have a balance in the world as a group. We don't have, as a human race, we do not have a balance right now. We're sort of seeking this and that, and we're tipping the scales here and there, and we do not have a balance. And so his suggestion was to drink some horsetail tea. And so I've been drinking that because it does provide and I have noticed how much more balanced I feel. I don't feel like I'm super
Mm.
dehydrated one way, or overly wet in another way. Like I feel a bit more balanced since I started drinking horsetail tea. So there are these kinds of herbs, I want to say, that can balance us, um, in a more balance the physical body. Let's put it that way. Um, there's a lot of studies being done on detoxing the intestines and keeping them as clean and as pure as we possibly can. There's lots of remedies out there in the world for that, but for the most part, we can balancing the mental mind, like working on our own intuition every single day and expanding our intuition instead of doing like how classes they sort of push you off the edge and into like
Yeah.
like that's probably what happened to you. It sort of pushed you off the edge, and then you did a combination of things, so there was no just hanging on the edge. It was a literal push. And so balancing those kinds of things out instead of having like big events, having small events every single day. Like we talk about that in the numinous courses that I offer, to sort of like, okay, how are we doing this every single day? How are we having numinous experiences, aha, miraculous kinds of moments every single day, so that we literally become that without actually having a episode like you did. So yeah,
Yeah.
working on it every single day, working on
That
being
make
balanced.
that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense.
Yeah,
I'm
because
just sitting, all this stuff's coming in as we're like going through this, and I'm like, this is awesome.
like what kind of stuff is coming in?
Just like everything I need to do, it's like, okay, yeah, I knew that. Yeah, duh. And for a few weeks, I had so much going on that I lacked on my practice a little bit, which completely makes sense on why I went through what I did, because I didn't practice like I should have been. And then I did all this like really amazing stuff, and then I wonder why my body detoxed from it.
Yeah, well, practice is a practice until it becomes your natural state of being, right? Like that's the point of
Mm.
practicing. Like we practice meditation, or we practice, intuitiveness, or we practice whatever it is or we practice good eating, healthy eating, or we practice balance until it becomes our natural state. Then we can have all the distractions in the world, but it will not pull us from our balance. It will not pull us from our numinous self. It will not pull us, like all the distractions in the world cannot rock you. That's the point of a practice. It's not that we have to add something to our
I never
life or
thought
take
about it like
away.
that.
Well, right. So we see practices, if we're looking at it in a linear fashion, we see it as taking something away from our life or adding something to it, and that just creates this internal struggle of, geez, when am I going to find time to do that or this, or, when actually we practice for 10 or 20 minutes a day meditation, and pretty soon you become a meditation. Pretty soon you don't, like we still go and sit because it helps the body release, but pretty soon it just becomes your way of life. And no matter where you are or who you're around or what kind of chaos is happening in your life, you come back to that no matter what, because it's a part of who you are. It's not a practice any longer or something that you've added or taken away. It's the balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
That's
make life too
awesome. I
hard by
love that.
adding and subtracting.
Yeah. I'm totally adding and subtracting. Like, I'm going to stop that crap.
It's a mindset. It's a mindset. All we have to do is change the way we see it, and it becomes something else.
That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about how we look at it.
Yeah, for sure. That's the beauty of this world of duality, is we have all the perspectives right here.
Yeah.
So looking back at your experience, would you do it again?
Yeah, I would do it again, to be honest with you, because it made me. I mean, I don't want to do it again, but
Yeah.
what it did do for me, I completely understand why I had the experience I did. And it made my awareness and my intuition just times 10. So that is amazing, because that is exactly what I'm working on.
Yeah. So sometimes we have to go through these traumatic events to get what we want. Again, it's
Yeah.
simply part of the programming. And if we change the perspective, um, will it happen again? Who knows? You get to decide.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to change that so it's not so
Yeah.
intense next time.
Right. Yeah. But,
Yes.
the ancients believed that we had to have these intense moments in order for, well, it's a real quick way of doing it for sure. You're not doing it over time, over days or weeks or months. You're doing it within hours. So, and
Yeah.
the ancients have always believed that, in order for transformation to happen, it needs to happen quick, swift, and like within minutes or hours, not years. That's an ancient
Hmm.
practice that we probably need to pick back up, because we're taking a really long time to transform here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that maybe I mean, everything just like it makes so much sense about them now. And I have transformed so fast. I mean, all of this has happened within a couple of years. I mean, I guess it's not as fast as I want it, but it has happened very fast. And maybe it is because I had those experiences and now I just know how to deal with them and ask the right questions, be like, okay, what is my body going through?
Mm-hmm. Right. Asking those right
Makes a lot
questions.
of sense.
Yeah. Asking those good questions. Becoming that inquisitive scientist, like I'm always saying, is become the mad scientist, with your questioning,
Yeah.
so that you can literally move through the energies in a really rapid way. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Super. Well, thanks, Amber,
Awesome.
for having the
Well, that
migraine and having a great conversation.
thank you for clarifying all that. That was awesome. I always love hearing your thoughts about it because it makes things so much easier for me. And you know, I think in the beginning stages, people always doubt themselves about what they are going through. So having your clarity always helps me so much. So thank you for all of that.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you for everyone for listening. We're so happy that you joined in. If there is something you'd like to talk about, please feel free reach out to Angela or I, or you can email me at ambermig2@icloud.com. Until next time, from our soul to yours, have a fabulous day.